Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I'm going to be doing a homeschool update. This specific video will be for my 9-year-old daughter who is in 4th grade. I split the homeschool update videos into different ones. There's one for my K through 1st grader. There's this video 4th grade, and then the next one after this will be group subjects. And I do that because I don't do monthly updates. It's easier, especially since we started in August, so this is about 2.5 months into our homeschool year, to dedicate each video to their own. So everything in here will be my 9-year-old daughter's independent and core subjects. So let's start with math. So as you can see here, I shared this in a previous video. It is her visual schedule that I printed up for her using the program Canva. It's completely free. And the first thing that you'll see here is math. So we have this math block in the morning. So she has math facts. So I have her choose from one of these various workbooks, just a page to do to practice her multiplication and division facts. I don't make her do addition facts. I think she's far beyond that at this point, but she took a long time to learn them, and we don't always use multiplication in the math we're learning on a constant basis, so I don't want her to forget those things. So she just does some of these fun little puzzle pages, and this one does also have division, which I think is good. So every day she'll choose one page out of one of those to do. In terms of math, we are still doing Dimensions 3A. Dimensions has been really a perfect fit for her and I going into math. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos, my daughter was in public school K through 2nd grade, and she had a lot of math gaps and a math anxiety from the public school system. So this has been a wonderful program to help with all those things. It goes in depth, it's thorough, it really allows the child to explore different ways of getting to the answer, not just this is your technique, practice your technique, move on to another thing. It introduces different concepts, different ways of getting to the answer. And I think that's a wonderful thing, especially math, because it's very higher level math. You don't look at a math problem when you're doing like physics or things like that, or chemistry. It's never just a simple answer. There's sometimes multiple ways you can get to something. So it's really that open mindset thinking, which I really like. So we do the workbook, the textbook, and then I have her do the test book. So when we finish a chapter, she'll do the test on that, and she does it independently. And she scores usually pretty high on them. As you can see, this one was in September, it was 29 out of 30. So that tells me that she's understanding the concepts, and these tests cover everything learned in that chapter. So it's covering different aspects of the chapter, not just that one thing they learned. We've had that problem in previous math curriculums where they would learn a specific concept in math, practice it, test it on it, move on, and then eventually you would spiral back to it, and she would have no recollection of it. So this to me shows me that she's remembering the things she's learned, not just moving on to the next thing. So this has been, like I said, a great fit for her. It's also a great fit for me. I'm someone who also struggled with math myself. I have a whole video about, our math journey. And the teacher guide, I think, does a very good job explaining the different concepts. And pretty much I myself am relearning a lot of the math that I didn't learn, or I was just taught route memorization, not necessarily how to think through a problem. So as the teacher in this, I find this extremely helpful and a great program. We will continue with that for her. It works well. So that is her math. Next we have a vocabulary. So once a week she will choose one of the vocab books, and then she'll switch to the other. So one week she'll do this, one week she'll do this. Word letters, she's really enjoying this. I got grades 2nd through 3rd. She could probably do the next grade up, but she's just having fun with this. I really like how it also helps her with her spelling, because realizing that if you're taking a certain letter away, that it wouldn't work unless you had the correct spelling for it. So she enjoys this, and it's really quick for her. The other thing she's doing is the vocabulary workshop. Now I just got this off Thrift Books. I didn't get any of the things that come with it. There is an online component where they can do flashcards and games and things like that. but we just do the booklet because actually someone in the comments section of one of my videos suggested that, and if you're watching that, thank you. This has been a really good fit. I like this program a lot more than Wordly wise. I think this is more challenging, I would say. It reminds me kind of SAT prep, but done at, you know, a younger level. So you have a story you're reading, and then you have the definitions of your words. And what I will do for this is I'll just split these up into days. So this will be Monday, this page will be Tuesday, this page will be Wednesday, this page will be Thursday. And if there's nothing else, then she'll be done. Sometimes on Friday there's 2 pages because we have less work on Friday, so she's capable of doing it. But I like that it approaches the words in different ways, so it's not just, really makes them understand and think about what those words mean. So there's match the meaning, synonyms, antonyms, completing the sentence, you do a word study, there's a lot of root words, suffixes, things like that, and just vocabulary comprehension, completing the idea. So there's things that are not just fill in the blank or match, but actually asking them questions. So is this her absolute favorite? No, because it does challenge her in ways, but I think that's a good challenge. She doesn't hate it. It's not something I have to force her to do, but I really like bringing in things, especially when it comes to vocabulary, because my daughter is an avid reader. She reads a ton, so she's exposed to a lot of vocabulary, and this is exposing her to words she hasn't necessarily come across very often, like policy, collide, quivered. So things like that. So it's really challenging that reading aspect of her to look deeper into the words, and I think it's done really well. And again, she doesn't complain. It's not her favorite thing to do, but that's because it's challenging her. So let's see. So we have different things. We also rotate. So vocab is every day, math facts is every day, math is every day. Mondays we do health, and she's been working through this hardcore health book. Again, got this off thrift books for, I want to say $4. And it's done by grade level, which I like. So this is the 4th grade. And every Monday I will just have her read a section of it. So for example, this coming week she'll be learning about keeping food safe, how to prepare food, how to store food, how to tell if food is spoiled, which I think is actually really useful information. Not something we necessarily teach our children, but is a good topic, like preparing your food, those type things, how to do it. So she'll read through the chapter and we'll just go through some of the discussion questions. I don't make her actually write anything down. It's all verbal, and it does have these chapter reviews, so we can, again, just verbally go through it. But the one thing I would say is we've talked about many of the things. So in this, it's talking about like body systems, skeletal system, muscle system. We did a whole human body unit starting this summer and going into the fall, so she's familiar with a lot of that. I did like the part about taking care of your body, your skin, your hair, your teeth, why it's important to, wash your hands, so basic hygiene. So it has, things on here about how to respond to emergencies. What do you do if there's a fire? What do you do if you eat something you're not supposed to? So poisoning, how to stay safe at home. So just basic stuff, staying safe in water, staying safe in the road. And there's, of course, parts on diseases and things like that. So I think it's a really nice overview. She's excited to get into more topics that we haven't discussed. There's a whole unit on here on smoking and drugs, so things we haven't necessarily brought up because we haven't really been exposed to any of that. So things I would often forget to talk about, I think, are in here, and it's just basic information, and she can read it independently, and we just discuss it. So that is health, and she only does a chapter a week. She is also doing All About Spelling, and she does this twice a week, and we started with All About Spelling Level 1. She went through it extremely quickly, which again, my daughter reads a lot, so I think she's just a natural speller, but she was definitely running into issues with larger words like delicious that she needs some guidance on. She can do basic, like phonetically spell, she can do it really well. She's very good with phonics. But when it comes to the rules, she needed some more guidance on it. I think this has done a really good job of laying down the rules of why these things are spelled this way. And I think especially in the English language, the grammar rules can be crazy, right? Like you can't memorize everything, and some of it you just learn as you go. And I think she knows how to spell some of these words, but she doesn't know why those are the rules. So she knows how to spell them. Now we're going over why those are spelled that way, why the silent E does those things. So this has been really helpful. She's already halfway done with this one too, so I might have to pick up level 3, but she has not struggled with any of the spelling with this. It just reinforces kind of why she spells it that way, and she's able to recall a different thing. She is not a fan of the letter tiles, but likes to just use a dry erase marker, which is fine. But it's going really well with that, so again, she does that twice a week. The only other grammar, language arts thing she's doing is she finished Grammar Island, is moving on to Practice Island, and what she does for this is she does sentence analysis, so she'll talk about, or she'll write, is it a pronoun, a verb on the first sentence? Is it a simple compound sentence? Is it a prepositional phrase? Again, all those things are covered in Grammar Island, the first book. So she does 2 of these a week. I have her do sentence analysis twice a week. And again, I just make a photocopy from the teacher manual because Michael Clay Thompson is ridiculously expensive. I got mine used off eBay. So she does sentence analysis twice a week. And we finished the building language, which is kind of like the root study word of it. And she will be starting Sentence Island this coming week. We finished IEW, which is perfect because we will be moving into Lightning Literature grade 4, and she'll be moving into this. So when she does her sentence analysis twice a week, we're just going to read a couple pages of this. And again, I really like Michael Clay Thompson, and it takes a different approach, definitely outside the box. I remember looking at the books online and just not getting it, but now that we've gone through it, I get it. It works well for my daughter. She's a very abstract thinker. So it's just pretty much a story explaining how to make a sentence, how to write a well-written sentence. So I think that will work perfectly since we're coming off the tail end of IEW and we don't have a specific writing curriculum. I do IEW starting in summer, and then when we finish that up, we start Lightning Literature grade 4 because I think it'd be too much to do both. But I want to have a little backup of writing. And a lot of this she has gone through the basics of with IEW, but just a gentle reminder. And again, she doesn't have to do anything with this. It's pretty much reading a story. There are some, activities along the way, of course, but it's just reading. So that is pretty easy. And like I said, she finished IEW, and I have a full review of that. I'll link it up above, but this worked really well for her. Now, was it easy? No, there were parts that were challenging for her, and that's completely fine. I don't think we should shy away from challenging our children with their education. There's nothing wrong with a little rigor, but there were times she was frustrated, and it wasn't because she couldn't do the work, because she had the thought that she couldn't do it, that it would be too hard. She had to get over this mental block that she couldn't do it. And a lot of that has weaved through things because she read very early. Things like language arts tend to come very easily for her. So when she approaches something that's not easy, she's apprehensive. So I think IEW really helped with her writing. We're going to continue to use the skills she learned in that in her Lightning Literature, because there's a composition component to it. I don't think it's very strong, but we have a bunch of these little handouts that came with the binder that kind of go over how to write. So if she needs those reminders, we will pull these out. And I think this will be kind of the structural backbone of the composition she does for IEW. And I think since she will be doing Sentence Island and getting kind of that refresher of the information, that when we dive into Lightning Literature grade 4, it will be easier for her. because the composition work, again, doesn't hold your hand. It kind of just gives you an idea of what to write, but there's not a lot of structure to it. So she's got the structure from IEW. She's got the refresher of how to make a well-written sentence from Grammar Island, and she'll be able to apply that to her compositional work. I really like, we will start liking literature grade 4 next week, and I really like how grade 4 is more independent. So as you can see, they get like a little weekly planner. So how we'll be doing this is she will do the reading, which again, I'll mark the pages. She can read it independently. There's some comprehension questions that she can go over with, and I'll go over with her, and then we will do the grammar section together. Again, this is the only grammar part, and then she'll have a composition assignment. So she's going to be able to pull all these different resources she's learned into that, which I'm really excited about, and she's excited to have assigned reading. So that is pretty much all of her independent and core work. I would say it's gone really well. She has definitely taken off with it. She's confident in the work she's doing. I'm not gonna say it's easy and rainbows and unicorns all the time. There are sometimes frustration, there are sometimes tears, there's sometimes yelling, but that's okay. It's not supposed to always be easy. It's okay to struggle and get through it. But overall, I would say she's doing exceptionally well. I've really seen a lot of growth in her and a lot of her taking on her own time management and organization and being proud of the work she does, which is really exciting, and not a lot of anxiety that she had prior to homeschooling. As far as extracurricular activities, she does a couple things. She does Lego Club at the library, again, completely free. Check out your library. They offer, at least our library, I know they're not all the same. They offer amazing free programs for kids. So once a month she'll do Lego Club, and she really enjoys that. And she gets to, socialize with the other kids. She also does horseback riding once a week, and that has helped her tremendously. She's very quiet, more timid child, so working with a horse, I think, has really helped her, especially when you're talking about controlling and riding a full-grown horse, full-size horse. It can be intimidating, but she handles it wonderfully, and I think it helps build upon her own confidence and speaking up for herself, because, part of riding a horse is being able to verbally and non-verbally communicate with the horse. She can definitely non-verbally communicate with the horse very well. She's very good at, her body expressions and things like that, but working on verbally asserting herself in situations. So that has been wonderful, and the teacher that teaches it was a retired public schools teacher for like 35 years. So it's not just riding lessons, like she interweaves math into it. For example, they were having a riding lesson, and if you didn't know, adult horses usually poop every 2 hours. So they were counting how many piles of poop were in the arena, and they could use that mathematical equation to figure out how long the horse had been in the arena. So different things like that. She'll bring in different spelling and grammar things when they're talking about different horse breeds. So it's been an excellent resource, and we really enjoy going to it. So that is how 4th grade has been going. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If not, thank you for watching.